reacting to the NFL 100 for the 2020 season as wow. New channel, new RBT. Actually, no, same RBT. And no matter if you're from the main channel, second channel, third channel, 17th channel, we're always going to be the Corn Squad. Always dabbing corn. As if you're here, thank you for joining me on another journey. You're good men. We're all good men, all for a good cause. As today, reacting to the NFL 100. Let's go. Don't you guys like that? Another channel and the intros aren't as long, so we all win a little bit. The NFL 100 was just finished yesterday with players 1 through 10. And I'll tell you right now, I've tried my best to stray away from spoilers, so my reaction right here is 100% authentic. So off the get-go, Levante David. I mean, you know what's funny? I thought about it. I made this video before, like on my main channel for like last year, the year before, and I reacted to the prior year's NFL 100, so that was a stinker. So hopefully today this is the accurate list. But NFL 100, if you guys don't know, really quick, an overview. NFL 100 is basically like all the players vote on who they think is the best players in the league 1 through 100, and that's how they make this list. So that said, here we are. Levante David, first player. I mean, quality player. I'm actually pretty shocked that he was this far down the list. I wish it would tell me where they were last year, but I mean, 100 does seem sort of low for Levante David. And I can't talk about every player because if I do, it'll turn into, I mean, I'll talk about every player, but not in depth, because if I did, it would turn into a movie. And I would rather this not be like a 1 hour and 30 minute long movie for the first video on this channel. So with that, next, Darren Waller. Wow. I would actually expect Darren Waller to be so much higher on this list. Like, I probably need to make this a little bit bigger because it was a little bit too small for the naked eye. But Darren Waller, like, oh wow, I feel like he should be higher. He's a beast of a tight end, a beast. Next, Brandon Brooks. Once again, barely sneaking in at number 98. Like, he's a solid guard. Wow, it took him 3 Pro Bowls to get in the top 100. Barely. I think he's a good player, quality. Next, we get Budda Baker. So this is his debut. He's a beast. He is. But I understand why he's just inside the top 100. But give him a few more years. He's a solid player. Let's see here. Chris Carson. Wow, this has got to be his... this is his first year on the top 100. He's the beast of a running back. This sucks for the Seahawks. He got injured late in the season. Very quality. I mean, if he has another good year, I think he'll end up in the top 60 next year. That's my guess. Chris Carson, top 60 next year. Next, we have Andy Reid. Andal. Don't think he actually plays in the league. Okay, that was Frank Clark. My bad. Frank Clark, 95. To be fair, he dropped 11 spots, and he won the Super Bowl. He's a freaking monster. How did he only had 5 sacks, okay, to be fair. Oh no, he had 5 sacks in the playoffs. Why did he drop? He should be higher. That's weird. I was about to say, that's 5 sacks was in the playoffs. Who voted him this low? You bunch of freaking psychopaths. I can get back right here and get comfortable. I was too close to my TV. Didn't realize my cord was this long. I can scroll from back here so you can see the more than just kind of like that side of my face. Next, we have Jason Kelsey. Wow, the only center in the top 100. So maybe they don't value offensive linemen that high on this list. Maybe it's some more skill position players. Kind of shocked. Wow, he was 72 last year. This year he's 94. That's wild. Next we have Allen Robinson. Was this his first year? He was ranked 32 in 2016. That is wild. He dropped that much? Dang. So, it's a return to the 100. He's a quality receiver. He just, poor guy. Like, maybe he should be ranked number 1 in the world after putting up 1,000 freaking yards with Mitchell Trubisky as his quarterback. So, good for him. Darius Slade. Why are people sleeping on Darius Slade so much? It's like Madden, where in franchise mode, once a player hits 30, they think they suck. Like, he's still quality. He's a huge pickup for the Eagles. I think he should be a little bit higher. I'm saying that for most players. I don't know what to do. Maybe there should be 500 players in the top 100. I don't know. Grady Jarrett. So, okay, makes his debut. I think this is about right. Another one of those players that he had a good season. So, he's still young, so give him a few more years. He can climb up there, top 70 or so, top 60. Now, 90 to 81. As well, that's a spoiler. Kyler Murray debuts. As why is it like the black screen? But you know what? Kyler Murray comes in at number 90. Now, to be fair, unless there's a ton of quarterbacks on this list, I think 90 might be a little bit too high because he obviously won Rookie of the Year and had a good year. You know what? No, it's not. I mean, It just depends. Like, that's okay. I'm okay with that as long as there's a lot of quarterbacks on this list. The way I see it, I think like a lot of the offensive linemen, D linemen, for the most part, unless it's like Aaron Donald's going to be like bottom half or so. I don't know. We'll have to see. But I'm okay with that. Next we have Cooper Kupp. Wow. I feel like, man, how is Cooper Kupp this low? He's a monster. He's a freaking G. I guess it's okay since it's his first time in the top 100. Jaylen Smith. What a guy. Didn't he have almost a career-ending injury? Didn't like he lose his hand or like lose most? That's Shaquem Griffin. I'm not lose his hand. Lost feeling in his nerve problem or something. Anyways, he's a beast. He was last year 61. Oh, it does say their last year thing. Okay, I'm stupid. But Jaylen Smith, he was last year 61. How did he fall? How? He enjoyed his first Pro Bowl but fell 25 spots? Dog. He posted a career high 142 tackles. And he dropped 27 spots. The guys doing this list are on crack or on weed. And that is true because it is voted on by the NFL players, I think. So, like, that is, you are on crack. You're cocaine. You are cocaine. Okay, now definitely cocaine. Wow. Josh Allen. Okay, this list is not accurate. Okay, like he runs the ball well, but he's not. Josh Allen is not a top 100 player. There's no way, dude. Kyler Murray should be higher than Josh Allen. It's freaking Josh Allen. Marlon Humphrey. Okay, it's his debut. I feel like he's one of those guys that after the next year I could definitely see top 50. We gotta go this. We're only through 15 players. This has been a 9-minute recording session. We've got to like go up a little bit. Zach Ertz. He did drop 45 spots. Oh, man. That's rough. I understand the drop. I understand. I'm okay with this one. Okay with this. I understand the drop. Last year didn't have that. I mean, he had a good year, but at the same time, he was like the only player to throw to because they didn't have a receiver. They had freaking Squidward at the receiver. Honestly, a bucket of corn would have been better like value at receiver than the guys they had because their entire team got injured. So Zach Ertz. Like, at the same time, I think that's a decent rating for him. He should have dropped a little bit. I could have seen a little bit more productivity. He has a really, really attractive spouse, but that doesn't like go into the criteria for the ranking. So 85 is okay. I'm okay with that. Cameron Hayward, he's just one of those players that are always very good, not like incredible, good. So that's about right. He jumped up 4 spots, low 80s. I think he's a quality player. They listed him as a D tackle. Isn't he more of a D end? Anyways, Eric Kendricks. So he's not his best season statistically, but his leadership is paramount. So he had a worse season statistically, but his leadership skills bring him up to the top 100. Wild criteria here. Next, Ryan Ramczyk. Wow, he's very good. He allowed 0 sacks. Dang, like. I could have seen him higher. Like, he really is one of the best tackles in the league. Like, I think he could be top 60 for sure. Next, we have DK Metcalf. Wow. Bro, are they like, is this going off a hype? I mean, he's good. Like, don't get me wrong, but the 81st best player in the league, only 900 yards and 9 touchdowns. That's a little whack. Like, he's good. He could definitely be a top 100 player this year, maybe next year, but like he just started and he didn't have 1,000 yards. 80-71, as Josh Jacobs is spoiled here. So is he? Oh, what? All right. So how does Myles Garrett drop 31 spots? That is wild. Yeah, he punched a man, or no, he didn't punch. He did punch, but he also threw a helmet. So that is very violent. But I don't think throwing a helmet like disqualifies your ability as a football player. Like, he's the highest paid player, defensive player in NFL history. How, just because he's suspended doesn't make him it doesn't mean his value goes down. Like, that is a wild, that is probably, right now, Myles Garrett's easily a top 50 player. So you're telling me Josh Allen is only 9 spots worse in terms of the value of an NFL player than Myles Garrett? Like, no, bite me. Like, I need to be an NFL player. If NFL players, like, their value was based on how well they rank players, I would be a Pro Bowler compared to a lot of these guys. Like, that's wild. Myles Garrett should be way higher. Calais Campbell. I saw this guy in person, and I heard him in person. His voice is very deep. So how are some of these guys dropping? Like their freaking ranking for DNs are wild. Like he's a beast. Like how did he? The Ravens are gonna be disgusting adding him to the front seven. How did he drop that many spots? Tyron Smith, what's up with these linemen dropping so much? He's a freaking beast. How? Like what? Where is the criteria and where is the proof that like represents the fact that Tyron Smith should have been dropped by 26? Like there's just not, like, some of these ratings are like insane. Keenan Allen and him too. Like I don't think Keenan Allen is as good as he thinks he is, but I don't think his year last year wasn't bad. Dog. Like what is going on? Like who's in the top 50? Like God? Like at this point, I expect Jesus Christ to be the only valuable freaking criteria to be in the top 50. This is insane. Marshawn Lattimore, he's arguably the best corner in the freaking league. And he's 76? Dog, who did this? Alfred? Alfred the Parrot? Earl Thomas? Is this low too? Okay, to be fair, he wasn't in the top list last year. But I'm like, dog, am I forgetting 74 NFL players that should be above these guys that we've seen so far? Ronnie Stanley? Like, too, he was like, honestly, wasn't he like statistically one of the best tackles in the league last year? Like, he's solid. I think Pro Football Focus had him as listed as a top tackle. Maybe I'm wrong. But dang, like that, I can't understand this one. Like, I understand kind of keeping a guy kind of low, like kind of respectable, like after 1 year good performance. But at the same time, like, it seems like the rankings are not consistent with how they're ranking players. It's a little wild, to be fair. Fletcher Cox, once again, a goddamn lineman dropping 50 spots. Like, my cock is probably higher than this dude, and he's an actual NFL player. My cock is just like a little 5-inch little dangler. But dang, I think Fletcher Cox, like, to be fair, I really do think he should be higher than 73. Like, he did battle injuries, to be fair, but like, I don't think that warrants, like, injuries doesn't make you worse of a player. Anyways, Josh Jacobs. Ooh, this is an interesting one. I wonder if there's any rookies, like last year, like I guess now sophomore players that will be ranked higher than him. I'm trying to think. Like, my brain is not in the headspace to automatically name like that who I think would be higher. But I wouldn't be surprised if he was the highest, like, sophomore player. He was a monster. He was a freaking beast. So once again, give him like kind of like a Derrick Henry kind of year. If he has a really good year this year, I'd see him probably in the top 30 next year. Like, I understand at the same time, like I said, like after a guy just has a good one season out of nowhere or as a rookie, understand, keep him kind of respectable, kind of low, but he was good. So I think 72 is good for him. Next, Jarrell Casey. Oh, this makes me so freaking sad. I don't want to talk about it. He's a good player. That's a good spot for him. It's sad, though. Like, as a Titans fan, he's a freaking, like, why? Why did we, unless we signed Jadeveon Clowney, that's going to be one of the few moves that Mike Vrabel and John Robinson made them be sad and pissed at. Like, why? Speak of the freaking devil, Ryan Tannehill the monster. He comes in at rank 68th. What a guy. So, we'll talk about it in a second. Fred Warner. This is his first year in the top 100. I mean, 70 is a good spot. He's a really good player. As a starting point for him in the top 100, 70 is a good spot for him. Next, we have Larry Fitzgerald. Like, this dude, like, just the fact that he's still respected by his peers and they have him this high. Like, this dude is, like, he is just a monster. Larry Fitzgerald, I'm going to name my kid Larry just after him. So he still had 75 receptions, 804 yards. Like, is he gonna play till he's 74? Like, how old is he? He's gotta be at least 36 or so. 69. That is the perfect spot for Larry Fitzgerald. Next, we have my boy Ryan Tannehill. Dude, please don't be a one-year wonder. I don't think he is. Like, he literally, like, I'm hoping his first few years at the Dolphins was just because they were the Dolphins and he didn't have good weapons around him. Give him, like, his specialty, he throws one of the best deep balls I've seen in the league. Like, his deep ball is probably top 5. You can argue whatever you want to about other stuff, but his mobility, which I think is very sneaky. I mean, the guy was a goddamn wide receiver until his senior year at Texas A&M. Obviously, he's got to have some speed to him. So combine his sneaky speed as a mobility at quarterback, which is not as fast as Marcus Mariota, but brings that same skill set. I have dogs behind me, and I'm not going to stop. So just enjoy my dogs behind me. But Ryan Tannehill, like, his deep ball is great. he manages the game well, but he keeps the defense. Like, no wonder Derrick Henry started blowing defenses out when Ryan Tannehill stepped in, because they had to respect the deep ball and respect the pass. So I love it. But Ryan, please don't have a disappointing year. Like, I'd be really sad. Demario Davis. Why is this his first year in the top 100? This is his first year? Okay. So that's wild. I thought he was for sure in the top 100 before. 67 is a decent spot. Maybe you could argue with how some players hadn't been in the top 100 in their debut, they're kind of low. Maybe he could be in the 70s to 80 range, but I'm not going to complain about a 67. I really haven't seen anybody yet that I could... I burped, but I'm keeping that in because this is raw. There's not been one guy I've seen that I would say they need to be lower, aside from Josh Allen. And maybe Kyler, but I would much rather have Kyler in the top 100 than Josh freaking Allen. Laremy Tunsil, number 66, a poor guy. Like, it's not a bad thing, but like I always think of him in that mask every time I see him. But like who the Texans and Dolphins should be happy at that, because they're the ones who got Laremy Tunsil because he fell because of that. But that doesn't make him a bad person. It's just the first thing that comes to my mind. But a good player, a very good player. But he does make his debut. He's good though. Like, he deserves, like, even to be fair, there are some of the players that are lower than him, like Ryan Ramczyk. If we're comparing players, I think Ryan Ramczyk probably should be higher, I think. But he's still a good player. Maybe this is a little high, but I can't complain at it. It's not like a freaking goddamn, what's his name, Josh Allen scenario. That's the only one player I'm like, dude, why? Like, why is he here? Tyler Lockett, 65. I like that. He's such an underrated productive receiver. He was only 98 last year. That's wild. Now, yeah, this is I'm nothing else aside from I'm okay with 65 for Tyler Lockett. Harrison Smith, he's like literally arguably the best safety in the league. Who is above him? Like, how was he that low? How was he only 83 last year? Dog, he's been this good for like at least 5 years. So how is he there? You're telling me there's 63 human beings on this earth better at football than Harrison Smith? You're smoking heroin. Insane. Do you even smoke heroin? I don't know. Preston Smith. So far, I think this is the highest we've seen a player be in the top 100 when they weren't in there last year. I'm not sure if it's what is his debut in the top 100, but he's good. Like, he's still a young player. It's got to be his debut, right? Is he 60? Like, I'm just trying to, like, I don't think that's not a bad rating, too high for him, but I'm just trying to think in comparison to, like, how some of the other players are their first year in the top 100. They're a lot lower than him. But, like, I'm okay with it. Once again, the only bad thing I have to say about this list is goddamn Josh Allen. Like, he's not a bad quarterback, Josh Allen. Like, I don't think he's awful, but, like, he's not a top 100 player. That's a big difference from being, how is David Bakhtiari 62? Bro, I'm telling you, if Jesus Christ is not, and his disciples not the top 50, who am I forgetting? So, this is wild. Like, how is he not high? They just not rate offensive tackles that high? Is he the top tackle at 62? Okay, now, I don't think Jarvis Landry should be 61. I don't know what he was last year. He's a solid receiver, but having Tyler Lockett behind him, having some of the other players, like David Bakhtiari, should not be behind Jarvis Landry. Like, that's just not okay. Like, unless, like, that's just not, like, that's not a thing. Like, how we got to that point? Like, I'm not saying Jarvis Landry is bad, but so you're telling me goddamn freaking David Bakhtiari is a worse player overall-wise than freaking Jarvis Landry? Like, somebody is snorting things that are not legal in this state. So, in this country. Logan Ryan, ooh. As a Titans fan, I am shocked that he is this high. He's good, but still 60? Better player than David Bakhtiari? I don't know about that. He's good. I think he should be in the 90 ratings, probably. I'm sad, though, that we didn't sign him. Like, it just kind of made me sad. But re-sign him, that is. But hopefully he's a good player. The team's gonna get a good cornerback. And I am still shocked that he didn't get re-signed. Didn't he play competitive like COD or something? I don't know where that came from. Odell. So Odell, so you're telling me the Odell Beckham Jr. is only 2 spots higher than Jarvis? I do understand his drop. I do think Odell's a little overrated, but he should be at least 30 spots higher than Jarvis wherever he is in the list. So I'm just confused at who made this list. Kirk, okay. I don't like this. Kirk Cousins, I think, definitely should be lower. Like, I do understand Kirk being higher than Ryan Tannehill, but at the same time, is David Bakhtiari a worse football player than Kirk Cousins? Like, I know it's hard to kind of translate that offensive tackle to quarterback because the offensive tackles do not throw passes and quarterbacks don't block for quarterbacks because you don't have duplicate quarterback positions. Like, you get what I'm saying? It's not two QBs on the field at once unless you're weird. But I just don't think he should be that high, to be fair. Davonte Adams, how did he drop? Davonte Adams, like, if he was 35 last year, once again, I better see Jesus and his disciples. I mean, are they just kind of, like, dropping players if they got injured? I don't see how that has correlation. Just because you got injured for 4 games in the season when you're not really injury prone, that doesn't make you much less of a football player. I just don't understand some of this. So, DeForest Buckner, he's a good player, but how is this? I'm okay with it, but how is this his first year in the top 100? That's crazy. Zach Martin. Now, this one is okay. Like, he's probably the best guard in the league, to be fair. Who is it that retired? Didn't a guard for the Cowboys retired? Who am I forgetting? That's beside the point. Point is, I'm okay with this, but still just shocked. There's 55 players better than Zach Martin. Stephon Diggs, ooh. You know what? I'm not too mad at it. I do think he'd be a little bit lower, but I'm not mad at it. Not mad. Marcus Peters, once again, wow, how is this? Is this his first year? Okay, no, it's back on the list for the 4th time in 5 years. Okay, how was he not on the top 100 list last year? Was he injured or something? I'm okay with this, again, but how was he not on the top 100 last year? Chris Jones, okay, same thing as Frank Clark. How did this team have such a great year, win the freaking Super Bowl, and, like, you both, like, him and Frank had good seasons, yet you drop? How? Like, he had, like it says, has fewer sacks, but some, like, once again, this list is on cocaine. Okay, now this is weird. How did Todd Gurley make 51st? Like, obviously, he has the talent to be, like, a top 20 player, but he just had a bad year last year. The injuries and stuff, once again, I know injuries shouldn't make you worse, like, in terms of, like, just because you got injuries, you should be dropped, but he just didn't have a good year, didn't produce. So, unfortunately, for some reason, it's a black screen for all the last players on the list, like on the bottom of the page. So I don't know what he was last year. But I would not have been mad at Todd Gurley not even being in the top 100. Like, that's a little shocking to me that he's... Okay, if he's, like, barely in the top 100, like 90 to 100, I'd have been okay with it. But I do have to say, like, that's probably... Oh, man, like, him being still top 50 or almost top 50... It's almost as wild as Josh Allen being a top 90 player in the league. So, Darius Leonard is all the way at 50? Bro, he's literally one of the best linebackers and one of the best defensive players in the league. How did he drop 24 spots? Bro, this is insane. How did he have another incredible season and drop 14? No, that's 24 spots. Bro! Who is making this list? Insects? A freaking frog? A team of frogs made this list? This is insane. He should be top 20 probably. Top 25. Cooper. Okay, that's good. Cooper's good. No complaints. Keep it kind of go a little fast. Darius Smith. 70. Like, once again, like, that's a solid ranking, I think. That's not bad, but just, like, I'm trying to think of what players can be above Darius Smith and just in the top 47 in general with some of the players that have already been listed behind him. Now, Tridaevius White, ooh, he won a Defensive Player of the Year. Did he win Defensive Player of the Year? Did he? So, I mean, I'm not saying he's not a good player. I didn't know that. I know he's arguably the best corner in the league. But if he's the best corner in the league, how is there 46 players better than him? Like, he's at least a top 2, maybe top 3 corner, arguably. Like, those guys are kind of 1A, 1B, 1C. But still, that's kind of wild. Dak, 46. Ooh. I do think Dak is an extremely overrated quarterback. Like, in comparison to what people make him out to be. That's not saying he's a bad quarterback. But I think he's still defined as good. I don't think he's top 50 good. I don't think he's 46 good. I don't like when people are saying that he might get a contract bigger than Patrick Mahomes. What like is there something more powerful, more potent than like LSD and heroin? Like it's like a cocktail mix of like DMT, like heroin, and just like corn. Like I don't know what you're smoking, but not like Dak Prescott does not deserve half the contract that Patrick Mahomes got, not much less more than him. So it depends on how you want to rate him and how you think he's perceived. I do think he's overrated for how he's perceived. I think he's a good quarterback. I do believe he should land in the top 100, and obviously it looks like, cause I still don't even think like I don't know who's somebody as an example. I don't think a guy named Frank Clark should have been behind Ryan Tannehill, but it kind of looks like QBs are just a little bit ranked higher than what they really should be. So in that sense, okay. But if it was my list, he would be more like 70 range probably. Did it look like a freaking bug just popped up on my screen? Dog, did the bug get inside my computer screen? And why just like, I've been talking for 4 straight hours. Wow. J.J. Watt dropped that much? Why do they? Okay, so this guy came back from a freaking torn bicep. It normally takes like 7 to 8 months to recover from, and was still productive after his torn goddamn bicep, and you drop him 33 spots? Dog, is Ashton Kutcher gonna come out? Like, how? Like, I'm so confused. Like, he should be higher. So you're goddamn freaking telling me. So you're telling me that freaking Tridaevius White, Darius Smith, Amari Cooper, you're telling me Darius freaking Leonard, Darius Leonard, Tridaevius White, and J.J. Watt are worse players than Mark Ingram. Marcus freaking Ingram. Like, I'm trying, this is all in comparison to how they're being perceived here. Mark Ingram's a good running back, but 44th best player in the league, better than Darius Leonard. You're telling me you'd rather have Mark Ingram than Darius Leonard? Dog, Mark Ingram might not even get the bulk of carries this year. He might not even be the starting running back for his own team, much less better than freaking Darius Leonard. Dude, this is wild. Wild. Okay, now things are getting even crazier. There is no goddamn way Jimmy G should be top 43. Like, honestly, I know it might be a little, like, unperceived bias, like, I'm trying not to portray, but I would not be, like, if Jimmy G was behind Ryan Tannehill, I would have thought that was okay. Even behind Dak Prescott. Like, as much as I just said Dak Prescott was overrated, Jimmy G, I know he made it to the Super Bowl, but god dang, what do you do? Like, just wiggle his nutsack back and forth to hand the ball off? Like, okay, to be fair, like, I am being a little harsh. He did, like I said, he threw for almost 4,000 yards, but just look at the weapons he had, dude. He had freaking George Kittle. He had Deebo Samuel, Emmanuel Sanders, 58 running backs. Like, dog, every time I handed the ball off was to a different running back that's healthy and it was just fresh. Like, that's okay. I just think that's way too high. Alvin Kamara, how did he? Like, why are these players dropping? Like, why? I'm so confused. Like, why did he drop, bro? I'm a confused boy, I guess. Jadeveon Clowney. See, like, now Jadeveon Clowney is a guy I could have seen drop below 50. I don't know, once again, if he got improved from last year on this list or dropped some, but if he was bottom 50, I wouldn't be shocked. I mean, I think the 41's okay, but once again, I'm trying to keep in perspective the guys he's in front of. Alvin Kamara, freaking, once again, how is Darius Leonard rank lower than Jadeveon Clowney? How does he rank lower than Mark Ingram? Like, I am literally in freaking shock. So here, Danielle, see, like, once again, I think Danielle Hunter is a really good player. Like, a really, really good player. On a normal day, yeah, he's a top 40 player. But just some of the guys he's in front of right now. Darius Leonard. Dog, how is Darius Leonard not a top 25 player at bare minimum? Tyrann Mathieu. So far, he takes the cake as, like, the highest player on the list that wasn't on the list last year. How is... once again, I think the safety talk, best safety in the league. How did they get so lucky? God dang, from Eric Berry to Tyrann Mathieu. But at the same time, I know Harrison Smith and Tyrann Mathieu 1A, 1B. A lot of people say Harrison Smith's the best. A lot of people say Tyrann Mathieu the best. Whatever. Whoever you think is the best. How is Tyrann Mathieu like 30 spots higher than Harrison Smith? I mean, it's okay with me that he's 39, but how are they that big of a difference on this list? Chris Godwin, okay. I think Chris Godwin's a good player and all, but I don't think he's a 38th rated player. I think he should be bottom 50. Like, he's good. He's good. But Daniel, he's 12 spots better than Darius Leonard. Jalen Ramsey dropped a little bit. I understand this, but like, I still think he's still a really good player. Like, 37's okay with me, but I don't think he should have dropped that much. But it's still, I'm okay with it. Like, there's much worse things. Nick Chubb, I said Dick, but I didn't. I meant to say Nick. because his name's Nick, not Dick. I don't think we have a Dick in this list. I have a Dick in my pants, but on this list. So Nick Chubb, 36. I honestly wouldn't have been shocked with how this list has been and how they're rating freaking Mark Ingram like as the 40th best player in the league. Wouldn't have been surprised if he was top 20, but once again, I think 36, let him have one more. If he has another year like he had last year, I think he should probably be top 15. I do think. He's a good running back. Minkah Fitzpatrick, okay, once again, he's good. He is really good. But, like, comparison to what the freaking Seahawks had to trade to get Jamal Adams, my dog likes to make a cameo again. He's not charging me for it, but he's back there. Zimba, why are you taking the spotlight? But Minkah, like, what did the Steelers, I think the Steelers traded 1 first to get Minkah. The Seahawks had traded about 17 to get Jamal. So, like, the fact that just compare what to get these 2 players in trades and you got the 35th best player, that's a pretty good trade for the Steelers. So, that's a good spot for Minkah. He's a really, really good player. Thank God for him he's not a Dolphin anymore. Ooh, Joseph Bosa, 34. That's a good spot for him. But how is he? You can't see this. Oh my, this entire video, you have probably not been able to see what he was last year. But you know what? Things happen. But he was 56 last year. And how is he 56 last year? I'm shocked at that. 34 is a good spot for him, but how is he 56 last year? Aaron Jones. Ooh. Aaron Jones, a better player than Davonte Adams. He should be in the top 100, but all the way at 33? Ooh. I don't know. Aaron Jones better than Nick Chubb? Shaq Barrett. Okay. Shaq Barrett's a good player. He had 1 standout season last year. 19.5 sacks. But like just how you're kind of basing this off of a player that had 1 breakout year out of nowhere and then normally like in the bottom 50 and they have him at 32. I can see it, but I'm a little shocked he's not like in the 40-50 range, but a good player. Saquon Barkley all the way down to 31. Understandable. I know he had a little off of a year last year. It's still a 1,000-yard year on a really bad team. So I can see why they dropped him down all the way to 31. If they'd have had him a little bit higher, I wouldn't have been mad at it. But I can see why they dropped him. With like some of the players are in this top 30, like with how good they are, I can understand why a bad year can drop you that much. Still don't see how he dropped to 31 and Todd Gurley dropped to 51. Like that's whack. Mike Evans, 30. I think he is much better than only 6 spots better than Chris Godwin. I'm a lot happier with him being here than Chris Godwin being just like 7, 8 rankings, whatever it was behind him. That's crazy. Quentin Nelson, 29. I was about to say, like, at the same time, this is good. Top player that was not in the list so far last year, because he wasn't in the top 100 last year. He's 29. But at the same time, is he 30 spots better than Zach Martin? I just by saying that, I think Zach Martin should be so much higher, especially if Mark Ingram's in front of him. Richard Sherman, why was he not? He was not in the top 100 last year. Like, did he? He was good. He was good, obviously, but I'm just kind of shocked. He didn't have, I think, a year good enough to go from not on the list last year to 28th best in the freaking world. And I think Quentin Nelson should be higher than Richard Sherman, but I would have much rather seen Richard Sherman like in the 50 spot or so, something like that. Jamal Adams up 10 spots, like hopefully for the freaking Seahawks. Like I think Minkah was 37, Jamal was 27 this year. He was 37 last year. So hopefully for the freaking Seahawks' sake, god dang, 10 spots in the NFL top 100 is warranted an extra like 2 first-round draft picks. That's freaking wild. I mean, that's still a good spot for him. He's a really good player. Von Miller, honestly, I got a picture with him, so I'm not gonna say it's bad. But I would not have been surprised to see him more in the 30-40 range. But still, good player. Got to pick with him. Now we have T.J. Watt with a huge surge from 93 to 25, bro. So that's good, but I didn't think it would have been 93 last year. Zeke, okay, so Zeke not a huge drop off on the list. He was 18 last year, 24 this year. I'm not gonna say I'm mad at it. I'm not gonna even say anything else. I'm not mad at it. Cameron Jordan with a big surge. But once again, which is like how something like Frank Clark, like with Chris Jones being as low as they are, how did Cameron Jordan warrant a 20 increase? And a lot of these guys that we thought had really good years last year, like career years, won the freaking Super Bowl, dropped 30 spots. Like, once again, I'm okay with him being this high, but just like, it just doesn't make sense in comparison to some of the other players. Tyreek Hill being this high, he hauled in 58 catches for 860 yards and 7 touchdowns in 12 games. Oh, that's right. I forgot. I was about to say, I forgot he got injured for 5-6 games last year. So, you know what? Whoa, I'm surprised because half the goddamn players that got hurt last year dropped 70 freaking spots, even though they had good years. So, but at the same time, Tyreek Hill, I even think he should be a top 20 player, I think. Next, we have Dalvin Cook. Ooh. He's a good player, but how is Dalvin Cook like 20 spots higher than Nick Chubb? Like, just some of this list, like a lot of these players, there's only been like 5 players that I'm actually mad at how high they are. They should have been lower. But there's a lot more players that I'm mad at that should have been higher. Just because there's just no consistency with some of the ways some of these players are rated. Ooh, Deshaun Watson, a top 20 player? I mean, he was 51 last year. I mean, I can see, I see it. I see why. But it's just still a little, just like, whoa, Deshaun Watson, top 20 player. Kind of hits you. Kind of hits you like alcohol. Like a shot of tequila when you don't like tequila. Kind of the same feeling I just got, except I'm not drunk. But still, I feel drunk after recording for like 4 straight hours. But, so, that was a really weird thought. But, once again, that's a good spot for him. It's just a little shocking, but it's a good spot for him. Khalil Mack, how did he drop from 3 to 19? Dude, like, I don't, he just, okay, I'm not gonna say anything else. That I'm just excited to see who's ahead of Khalil Mack. Travis Kelsey ahead of Khalil Mack. He's a good player. Like, obviously Travis Kelsey a good player, but better than Khalil Mack. But still, at the same time, like, I'm not mad at 18 for Travis Kelsey. Nick Bosa, whoa. Okay, I know Nick Bosa had a good year and all, but I was talking about the sophomore year thing. Josh Jacobs being the best player, like a sophomore player this year. Nick Bosa all the way at 17? Bro, how is Nick Bosa? I mean, he's at least a top 40 player, but 17? He's already better than Khalil Mack? Already better than Darius Leonard? Oh. There's no consistency. Aaron Rodgers dropped from 8 to 16. At the same time, like, I wouldn't have been surprised if he was like 40. I wouldn't have been surprised if he was like 2. Like, this list makes no sense. I'm not gonna say this. I disagree with this, but I'm just like perplexed. I'm just in a weird state of mind right now. Some of these ratings. Chandler Jones at 15. What is happening? Bro! Like, how does he go from not on the list to 15? Shaq Barrett had more sacks, but only went to like, what, 30 something? Like, this list just makes no sense. Thomas, all the way down to 14. Like, he went from 6 to 14. He just, like, at the same time, I know his numbers didn't wow you, but dog, he had a goat to throw to. Like, not like greatest of all time goat, like an actual freaking physical animal goat. Like the dairy producing goat that you get goat cheese from at the Mexican restaurants, the Aztecas, the San Miguel's of the world. You'll have those restaurants, the Mexican restaurants in your area. That's what he was throwing to, a goat. But, I don't know, that's weird. Like, I still understand it. I understand the ratings. Like, it's just still, I'm perplexed at some of the stuff going on. Bobby Wagner, he only jumped up 2 spots from last year. I mean, with how he played last year, that's good. That's good for me. This is probably the best, like, the most in agreement I am with the rating in the past like 40 or so. This is a solid one for me. Drew Brees dropped all the way from the second best player in the league to 12 because he got hurt. He still had a great year. I still don't see a lot of the drop off that a lot of other people were seeing. Like, I mean, I know he has Michael and some other good receivers, but dang, I don't know. Man, maybe because he got injured for some of the games. I don't know. I don't like that. Julio Jones, 11? Like, how? So, I'm confused because isn't this list, like, correct me if I'm wrong, isn't this list made by the players? Didn't there just come out a top list where like some NFL executives, coaches, and players just rank their top wide receivers, and Julio Jones was number 1. And off the top of my head, there's like 3 receivers higher than him in the top 10. So how does that even make sense? So the NFL players, executives, and coaches rank him best receiver in the league, but here, like, 4? Like, I'm just so goddamn confused. Like, bro, at this point, like, I think they freaking just, like, honestly, they used a random player generator to make their list. Like, all these players just were like, dude, why do I have to fill out a list of 100 players? So, like, they just randomly, I forgot to put freaking Joey Bosa in the top 100. I don't feel like changing my complete list from now. So I'm just gonna freaking, I'm just gonna put Joseph, Nicholas, 17, because I forgot him. Like, I'm so confused. So we're 10-1 now. Oh, I haven't seen Derrick Henry yet. I didn't want to see any spoilers. I didn't see it. Okay, I say that. Derrick Henry's 10. Like, as a Titans fan, he was 99 last year. Bro, that's crazy. He jumped 89 spots. As a Titans fan, I would have been okay with him being in the 20 to 30 range. But at the same time, he's a freaking good goddamn player. But 10, I'm obviously happy with. But at the same time, I would still been happy 20 to 30. But 10, I love it. I love it. I think some people might think he's a little overrated. I don't know. Stephon Gilmore, number 9. Okay, yeah, he was a beast last year. Defensive MVP. I mean, obviously your freaking defensive MVP should be pretty high. So the fact that he's 9 and not like top 5 does kind of shock me. But 9, a thumbs up for me. DeAndre Hopkins is 3 spots above Julio Jones. He was Julio Jones' spot last year. I wish I would have seen what Julio was last year. I mean, it just depends on what you think. Like, DeAndre, Julio, 1A, 1B. But I'm just, once again, perplexed that Julio is at least not... I would have much rather Julio been top 10 than Derrick Henry. I'm a Titans fan. But, I mean, as long, like... that's what my brain's saying right now. Next, we have George Kittle. Whoa, George Kittle all the way up at number 7. I think top 15 for sure, and definitely should be above Travis Kelsey, but 7th best player in the entire league? Like, he's great. Obviously, best tight end, I think. But 7th best player in the league? Christian McCaffrey, I agree with this. How was CMC 42 last year? Dog, he was the Panthers. Like, honestly, the Panthers' offensive productivity with just CMC, the only offensive player in the field at once, like if it was just one offensive player playing at one time and it was him, as is like a direct like carry for him every play, they wouldn't have much drop off because that was how much he carried the team last year. So I think 6, like I'm shocked he's not top 5. Honestly, he's a freaking monster. Next we have Michael Thomas, number 5. Like, there's just no way you're telling me Julio Jones is 6 spots lower than Michael Thomas. Yeah, I can understand. Like, I understand the argument for all 3, Michael, Julio, and DeAndre for being the best receiver in the league. But when the NFL players vote and the executives and coaches voted on Julio being the best wide receiver and in the top 100 list, Michael Thomas is 6 spots higher than Julio. Just, like, where's the logic? Nothing makes sense. It's not consistent. But he should be a top 10 player. All 3 of the receivers should have been. Number 4. Who's it gonna be? I'm trying to think of who it could be. Like maybe Russell Wilson or something? Bro! What? Hold on. You hear that? It's me farting. Because that's what I think about that. That could not have been better freaking timing. How is Patrick? Last year he was 4. This year he's 4. He just put up insane freaking numbers and he won the Super Bowl. And he didn't. Who is above him, bro? Now this is okay. If you can look at me in the eyes and tell me Patrick Mahomes is not the best quarterback in the league, you are insane. Now I didn't say he's the best player in the league, but the reason I'm bringing that up right now is because this means there's at least 2 QBs above Patrick Mahomes. So this top 3 is going to be Lamar Jackson somewhere in there. We're gonna have Aaron Donald for sure and Russell Wilson. How? Honestly, if Aaron Donald was number 1 and Patrick Mahomes was 2, I would be okay with that. But he's 4? Bro! Who did this? A kitten? A kitten or a frog? A dead frog at that. A friggin' toad. Aaron Donald 3? Like, at this point, I mean, how did he drop to 1? Like, hold on a second. So, Russell Wilson is 2. Lamar Jackson is 1. Bro, come on now. Like, so I've been talking about who was the highest ranked player that made their debut in the top 100, and it couldn't get any higher than this. So his debut season, I know he won the MVP and all, but with like the consistency in the rankings, a player that just made their debut in the top 100 had one good season out of nowhere, they were still ranked for the most part pretty low. And Lamar Jackson, after one season, is 3 spots higher than the Super Bowl winning best quarterback in the league. I spent 48 minutes of my life talking for that. Bro, I don't even smoke weed, and I feel like I need to right now. But I don't even know what to think. I am an alien.